World Wrestling Federation. For over 50 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment.
What's our name?
Well, men on the
Are you ready?
Well,
Here we go. Men on a mission. Bam, bang, boom. Here we go.
Welcome to the New Generation podcast on the Blackthorn Wrestling Network. I'm Tim Slomka.
I'm JP.
Thanks for joining us again. As always, we're on the journey to relive the new generation era, find the best, some of the worst of the wrestling time period often forgotten. For Bret and Shawn Survivor Series 92, to Bret and Shawn Survivor Series 7, we'll beyond the pay-per-views, examine the weekly TV, see what worked, what could have worked, and what failed. JP, how was your life?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Ready for some in your house?
Yeah.
Life's good. Summer kids. Last week of school for my kids for school, so.
Oh, we're out down here.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy, but yeah, we got one more week. But it's like today I went to the zoo with them. Tomorrow's cleaning day. Next day's day at the park. Like they're done. Then I have to bring my son's not even bringing a folder home. Not that he was good at it before, but he's like really senioritis. So
exactly. No, I get it. I mean, I'm like so jealous of my daughter right now. She's just living her best life.
I think I saw the other day Epcot and just
dude.
Where were you?
I was working. I was at work. So anytime I have to work a Saturday, like in the morning or something, my wife would be like, "Oh, do you have to work?" So I'm sorry. And then they go to Disney. Like, oh yeah, it's like fuck me. Like everybody, the whole family just goes to Disney when I have to work.
Why you're working hard and they're paying for your money.
Right. I'm working overtime. Yeah. So yeah, I have to work like a Saturday a month. I mean, I don't have to, but I just do it. And that's then I'm not a big Disney person. I'm not gonna lie. So I just use it for sympathy. I'm like, oh, you guys got to go all day while I was working. Meanwhile, I didn't want to go anyways. But
yeah, I just saw it and I was like, your daughter looks like she's having fun. And I was like, I haven't seen you in a photo, so
no, I go. I probably they have passes like they
That's what's crazy about like not going there. It's like so expensive. You hear like Florida people going all the time because of the pass. It just feels
they probably go twice a month. And I'll probably go twice a year.
Yeah,
so
I go twice a year too, and I've already been in there. So
right. Yeah, I'm not the biggest crowd person, so that's why.
Well, we try to go when it's not busy. That's right. Like I was actually talking to someone today. She's like, I'm going to go between she's like, oh, you pull your kids out for school. I'm like, yeah, because I just hate lines. I hate crowds. Yeah. She's like, we're going to go in between Christmas and New Year's. I go, good luck. That's gonna hate your life, but.
You are, yeah, exactly. They say it's like the first week of February, the last week of January. I don't know. It always seems crowded to me.
Yeah. It's always crowded, but there's lesser weeks. Because the way I can tell is when you go there and you look at like you're kind of on the monorail and you see like the one set of parking lot that's not even being used. Right. And you're like, okay, I can't even imagine when that parking lot started to fill up.
Oh, dude, it's oh man, it's you just got to think everybody's on summer vacation at the same time, and then every country comes over here during the summer too. So it's just it's insane. But it is what it is, you know. I'm glad I'm not a Disney person.
No, you miss out. I'll tell you.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so let's go to In Your House, number 1, 1995, May 14th from Syracuse, New York. Interesting pay-per-view. First time they've kind of gone 2-hour, which they'll keep for a couple years, I think. Mm-hmm. And then, shorter card also there as well. And they have some tapings as well as part of it. So I'm going to get those matches first. Okay. Which are kind of just because it's WWE. I didn't watch any of these. I think some of them you can find here and there. Right. I think actually most of them were on the DVD VHS at the time as well. So we got Jean-Pierre Lafitte beating Bob Holly. We got a King of the Ring qualifying match, which is shown on Raw, so we'll see it. Davey Boy Smith and Owen Hart, so we'll talk about that. We see it. And we got Undertaker Kama. Which feels like a bigger match, but they didn't have a feud really yet. Besides stealing I feel like they haven't really connected. Right. So he sold the urn / necklace, but they haven't really met. So they're doing this match there, and then you got Bam Bam Bigelow beating Tatanka. So that's where, because it starts with Bret Hart. So those are like the pre-matches. This is kind of one of the things where In Your House is legendary for some of these matches, where like the Winnipeg show, Bret Hart's not on when they're in Canada. Bret Hart's in the park match. here you got Undertaker, who's rarely on TV, now not on a pay-per-view. So I think they kind of failed at some of this. I like some of the stars we'll get to see, well, quote unquote stars. So we'll get to see some different people like Hakushi, Adam Bomb on a pay-per-view. So I like they sprinkle in some other people to get a shot, but it feels like they need a couple more big stars on some of these. And we'll see throughout. Maybe it doesn't track, but this first one, it feels like a miss not having Taker or Bam Bam, right? Who just main evented the last thing on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, especially Bam Bam. I think it's just like a half-baked idea at this point. Like I feel almost like this is the initial jab that will lead to the Monday Night Wars, because like this is their response to WCW having more pay-per-views. So like, back in the 80s, they did the whole Survivor Series on Thanksgiving against Starrcade thing, whatever. Then the Mania 4, and the clashes and all that stuff. And now it's kind of like, all right, we got to compete. And Vince didn't want to add another pay-per-view. Like they didn't want to if they didn't have to, but I guess WCW's doing it, so they got to add one now. So in turns, the entire calendar becoming pay-per-views. I think that kind of ruined the model a little bit. Like I like the gap in between pay-per-views better. I don't know about you, but like when every month is a pay-per-view, they just don't seem as special. I think like in the Monday Night Wars when everything was hot, it made sense because people were the demand was there. But like right now, like, I don't know how many people are clamoring to buy all these pay-per-views.
Yeah, I think one of the problems they run into is when you listen to like 90 and 1991, they definitely need a pay-per-view in some spots. Right? And King of the Ring kind of qualified that. But so I don't dislike the idea, but every month, we'll especially see like the December pay-per-view, there's no bill. There's 3 weeks or 2 weeks. And you could tell the show is just wasted. So there's definitely some times where, it's not needed. I think there is some times where it does. This one definitely feels pretty loose. Like it's kind of not needed. But again, a concept thing, I agree. It probably waters down a little bit the overall pay-per-view market. So, but it was cool to kind of have like, another pay-per-view. Like I remember being excited about this.
As a kid, I loved it. Yeah, I give me more. Like give me everything. Yeah. Like you don't have to watch it. That's the opposite side to it. I don't like how their business does. I really don't care. Like I don't their money or whatever. But like as a kid, like just like the people that complain about how long Mania was, well then don't watch all of it. Then like if you want to watch it, watch it. I don't like one bloated show. I like it better split up. But more is there if you want it, I guess. So we'll just have to see how they adjust and, like you said, kind of mix the lineups up a little bit. And I don't know, just like it's almost like some of your B players get a chance to get on pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's what I think we'll kind of like as part of this is the B side. But we get the worst rap I think ever to start In Your House. Like this In Your House rap is probably the worst of all time. We'll like bring up Men in Mission to get this going. And I think you should go first match. Only other thing I have is our announcers are Vince and Doc. And my second note I see here is Doc is so annoying. So
he's so bad.
He's so bad. So
and I'm a Michael Hayes fan, especially Freebirds in the 80s and even WCW Michael Hayes. But he is so bad on commentary that I don't know. He just overdoes it instead of just being like a personality. He like tries to be, I don't know, way over the top, and it just doesn't work. But
it does not work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you get the first match? I just had to get that note in because I would be so mad at myself if I didn't say how bad he is.
I don't blame you. So our first match is Hakushi versus Bret Hart. Backstage, Bret's talking with Todd, and Todd's mullet is insane. Like he's goated for that. So anyways, good idea to start with. But how the mighty have fallen with Bret opening the pay-per-view does seem kind of off-brand for him. We got good stuff early on with Hakushi in control until Bret kind of like starts to get the crowd back. And then there's this great spot where Bret like flips Hakushi with a clothesline. That was pretty good stuff. So I think they had like pretty solid chemistry early. Shinja tries to he does trip Bret, and then Bret like turns and dives out of the ring onto him, which was pretty cool. You don't really see Bret doing that kind of thing. then that kind of lets Hakushi takes over. Then they do this spot where it's like a suplex sends both men over the top rope, like their momentum carries them both over, and then Shinja kind of grabs Bret, stopping him from getting back in the ring, and that's like a lot of people, I don't know how heavy you are into like GWE and like the forums and that kind of stuff. This spot was mentioned a lot as far as Bret's natural way of getting into a move. So like he had Shinja like hold him instead of and it's my gripe too, like with modern wrestling and where they like just stand there and wait for the guy to do the move off the rope and like they're just standing there. Well, this was like Shinja's pulling him, he's arguing with Shinja, and then he turns around and all of a sudden Hakushi's doing like the Asai moonsault onto him. So pretty good stuff there, and great job to set that up and make it look natural. Then they do this like struggle spot, which results in a victory roll win for Bret. He's known for these kind of out of the nowhere win, pinfalls, kind of like Bryan Danielson was in the 2000s. So I love that. Then the spot, so Bret gets the win over Hakushi. He's got to face Lawler later on, and Bret kind of does something where he jumps off the apron and ever so slightly looks like he twists his knee. So looks like we have a bum Bret Hart going into his match with Jerry Lawler later. Yeah. So overall, good stuff.
Yeah, they're gonna build it up as storyline. My notes. This ended up one of the closest what a maneuvers of all time. Vince and even Doc started doing. There was an over the top rope move by Bret that Shinja almost hit his head on the table. I don't know if he just appears like the table was too close.
Yeah.
There's this awesome suplex over the top rope, but I don't know if I've ever seen that move before.
The way they both just like cartwheeled over.
Yeah, they both. I don't know if I've ever seen that. The crowd's really into this.
Yep.
As well, the Hakushi, a real big moment for him as well. And I think as much as you want to say Bret Hart, he did this at Mania 10, right, where he leads the card. So even though you say he's leading off, and they did it Mania 10, I think it's to space it out to try to make it believable. And I think it does play into the Jerry the King Lawler of like
that's fair,
fight him off. I do think it's a step down for him overall, but I think that's why they did it this way.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd was so into this match too, and even when Bret wins, he gets a ton of the fireworks off. They talk about how tired he's going to be, which is a great storyline because like the King isn't as level, but now you're setting him up as like, hey, to fight this hard fought victory. I do hate the knee injury thing because like Bret's done it so many times, and I'm like, man, I thought it was real. Spoiler,
Oh, I did too.
Yeah,
when I first saw it, I'm like, oh shit.
I'm like, that's so. I was like, man, Hakushi just looks like a bum.
Yeah.
And I kind of like, okay, it fixes itself a little bit, but Bret looks like a star with the fireworks going off mid ring, something very WCW, right? Mid match or mid pay per view fireworks,
right?
But I thought it was a good match. Definitely had Hakushi going in. So then we get a. Anything else in the match? Or are we good to move on?
Nope. I think we're good.
And then we get I had to put a note for this. We get Stan Lane and Alundra Blayze on the Superstars one. I said I can't imagine the creeps calling into that thing. Like,
they have identical haircuts.
They do. just the creep. Like I just saw it.
Yeah. Oh, you already know how many people were calling in for that.
Yeah, right. I just can't even imagine. I would love to get that unedited tape.
Right.
Throughout the night, they too talk about this house giveaway. It's kind of annoying when you watch this pay-per-view a couple times, but like probably live, it probably was real cool. Probably, I wonder how many people bought it for that. I'm not really sure if that's possible.
Yeah.
But I do understand it. We then get Razor and Double J to start off with this. And the Roadie. Sorry, we have 2-on-1, right? We have Razor versus Roadie and Double J. They talk about Roadie, how he's never fought before. It's a handicap match. This match is 13 minutes. It's a little long, given that the Roadie isn't supposed to be credible. There's so many times in the match where Double J and Roadie run into each other, like hit each other in action. It's like constant that. The Roadie also looks fat. Like I thought he doesn't look in ring shape yet. Like compared to like Road Dogg. I don't ever say Road Dogg doesn't fat, but he kind of looks fat. It might be some of his costume as well, but he's just not to his credible. The match was fine, but it like doesn't make Double J look good. Razor looks strong, but he's not even champion. Kind of feels pointless. And then at the end, we get, a beatdown after basically Double J and Brody run into each other again. Vince says it's the impossible that Razor won this. And you get like a little quick pin. And then Brody and Double J go to a beatdown. So the beatdown's pretty strong. And out of nowhere, I didn't know this happened. Eldo Montoya comes out. He's such a bum. He gets disposed of, and with -2 seconds. Like, they take him out so easy. And then comes. Oh, go ahead.
No, there was literally no point for him to come out there.
No, it was just like, it was pathetic. It was a pathetic thing. And then we get a mystery man coming out. Doc, again, is so annoying here where he talks about, I recognize this guy. Like, no one's supposed to know what he is. Like,
yeah.
And then you got cops out there, so they're trying to pretend it like it's a nobody. And he evens the sides. So you got Razor and Savio, the Quang or whoever it is coming out to help them. You get all the Tony Gurria, Rene Guerrero, all the police officers, referees, all kind of making it seem like this is like a fan or someone that isn't supposed to be out there. I really like that touch, but just Doc is so. I think I noticed that guy.
Yeah,
super annoying.
The match was whatever. It wasn't really that good. I guess it was supposed to originally be a tag, and then Kid, broke his neck or whatever, and then I guess they just went with the handicap match. I don't know why they didn't do Razor and Aldo Montoya if you're gonna have him involved, but him saying I recognize this guy pissed me off so much because. First off, he was Quang, so he had a mask on, so you didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
Then, even if you are like alluding to Puerto Rico, where he wrestled before, where he was TNT, he wore face paint there. So,
okay.
And then who in 1995 is tapped into WWC Puerto Rico? Like 90. No, not in 95. No, I'll watch it on YouTube now, but not in 95. But like. Yeah, who's like, that's TNT. Like, you might have a couple guys that do that, but you're not gonna have for him to slide that in there was so. I hated it.
Well, I like afterwards where Razor interviews and he kind of tells them like, "Hey, this is a legend. Like, this should cheer guys." I like that. Like, hey, you don't know who this guy is, but he's a big timer. I like that point of it. But like for you to like automatically know, like, that's
right.
Someone I recognize, that just felt stupid. It kind of ruined it. It ruined why bring the cops out? Like, he's clearly signed as WWF. I like it after the fact, right? Where Razor kind of says, hey, this guy's a legend elsewhere. Like, no one maybe knows him. Hey, I bet some of you do. I like that. Don't play like he's a fool. But it just let Razor do that. Don't have him do it. So I'm trying to think if I have any notes. But I really love the cops coming out. It just shows, hey, anything can happen. The crowd was nuts for that. I'd say for Bret match, and then for the last 2 minutes of this match, the crowd was definitely very nuts for it. The match, they were a little quiet because I think there was too many the same things happening. But
right, and they didn't do too much in the match to get the crowd into it.
No,
it was
it couldn't do anything, right?
Right.
Like they doing the tags and beat down, just silly.
Yeah. So then we get some random shit here. So we get we were clamoring. It's weird, and I forgot this even happened. We were talking about Adam Bomb having a pay-per-view match, and all of a sudden here he is now against Mabel. Random ass match. Yeah, King of the Ring qualifier at that. I don't know how. I don't remember ever this getting any hype, did it? I don't remember.
Very, it was on some of the previews, but yeah, it was the limited.
Right.
Very limited. No build either between the two.
And then even worse, right? So you got Mabel. I know you want to build him up as a heel. You're not doing the best job of doing that. They haven't really, had him do some impressive beat down on somebody on any of the shows or anything. But they have Mo distract, and then Mabel kind of attacks Adam Bomb. Adam Bomb finally gets the advantage with a dive to the outside, a top rope clothesline. But then he goes to jump on Mabel. Mabel catches him, falls on him, and then that's it. The match couldn't have been more than 2 minutes.
154.
There you go. Yeah, I don't understand why they what the point to have this match on here was. I know you want to get Mabel. I know that's their goal. I'm sure they've already decided he's winning King of the Ring at this point. and that's their like motivation to build him up. But to sacrifice Adam Bomb was weird. I just don't get why this match was here. And it's just random as hell, and to be a squash on a pay-per-view is real weird.
Yeah, you get no wrapping from Mabel. Mo's it all black.
Right.
So I kind of like try to turn it up a little bit different, but they don't go full that way of like different. And then this match should have been better. Adam Bomb had like 2 or 3 good moves, like top rope clotheslines. Like he's over, the crowd pops from him, but it's like way too short. And Mabel doesn't look strong when he wins.
Right.
Like, I think that would have been cool if like Mabel would have hit like 3 slams, but like he kind of wins on this weak cross body.
Yeah, he just fatted on him. That's it.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing there too. And then we do have then we have an interview with Razor with Savio, and that's where he mentioned, he says you've changed a little bit, and kind of like hits him on the head, like definitely. Yeah, that's okay. Like the tongue in cheek, like you change a little, right? Because you have to go pretty deep in the Observer to know that. But
right.
He takes that he's a big time player from the Caribbean, so like that part I like. We get our tag team title match. Great, we timed this out, so you get both red matches. Perfect. we did good. We don't plan this at all. It works out perfectly. Right. We get Owen and Yoko versus Smoking Guns. They really talk about how the Smoking Guns were kind of tricked at Mania, that they didn't think they could fight someone like Yoko come out. The match is kind of nothing. It's only 5 minutes long. Yoko, as every time, looks gassed, but he looks strong in 2 or 3 of his moves. But he's just not doing well. He's very slow in the ring. And it's pretty much the Guns beat down Owen. Yoko gets a big move, and then Owen kind of wins. So it's fine. Owen's really starting to do the thing where he grabs both title belts. He kind of acts like he's the soul of the thing.
Right.
They look a menacing tag team, but it's kind of going nowhere. And the Smoking Guns, like we've kind of talked about here, one of our biggest disappointments, I think, of the New Gen era would be Smoking Guns.
Oh, it's not even close. Yeah, 100%. I think having this match come right after the Mabel match kind of just drug it down a little bit. But I also think we're going to have to, like, or at least myself, I'm going to have to temper expectations on, like, in your house matches for the first, 2 years probably until – like in your house is going to have these kind of like quick little dud matches for a while, like I can see it in my head, like all the way to like 97 probably. Like, I know like Canadian Stampede is loaded. I know like Final Four is pretty solid, but I don't know. I think we're just going to see a couple of these like Raw level matches on these type of pay-per-views because they just really don't know how they want to run a 2-hour show. So you almost like they want to put more people on, but then they don't want to give them as much time, kind of thing. So we'll just have to temper expectations, I guess.
Yeah, it just feels like a nothing. I mean, I think we have this problem with the Guns just not being good.
Yeah, I guess they can justify it because you're paying less and it's a less show, I guess. But
I think they just want to have a tag team title match, but it's just the Guns are not good.
No, and that's the other thing too. The Smoking Guns are just like, I don't know. It's crazy that we're this far into their run and they have not given us anything yet. Like there's nothing to chew on with them. It's just same. They do a couple athletic spots every now and then, but there's like no substance to their characters. There's nothing changed at all since '93. So I guess we'll just have to hope and pray that something changes with them.
Probably not.
Yeah,
Sonny, that's about it.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's true. Then we.
That's like a year away. It's like a year away from them, and that's Lawler, I think.
Yeah. Then we get Lawler backstage, introduced, or is in the ring? He introduces his mom, which is clearly not his mom. It's
my god.
It's also too old to be his girlfriend. But
I had to get a jump, but yes, I agree.
Yeah, she's I don't know, maybe 90s. So this is a 90s looking woman, so she's probably 28. I don't know, somewhere around there. Obviously hot younger girl. That's not his mom. That's the joke. I don't get why he wants to portray her as his mom. That's kind of weird. So it's like you're telling everybody you're sexually attracted to your mom. But knowing his proclivities, there's not too much that surprises me there. So now we get the Lawler versus Bret match. So Lawler's thinking he's going to pick Bret off the bone here. Bret comes out and kind of like shakes his leg, showing that he's not hurt. So it was all a ruse for him. Good on Bret for setting Lawler up. And then Lawler's on fire with like doing some like comedic selling, like just the kind of stuff I like Lawler for in this era. You have your fast-paced guys, you got your big muscled-up guys, but then like Lawler's the one that kind of breaks up the car a little bit, doing like the over-the-top, 80s kind of wrestling, selling, and just running away from Bret. I love it. They do like this. They both exchange pile drivers, which is actually pretty good. And then the ref ends up like getting caught in the ropes, which sends Hakushi in to dive in on Bret, and Lawler ends up rolling up Bret. Kind of does his own little version of not necessarily a victory roll, but like a little jackknife kind of pin, and beats Bret, which I thought was the smart way to go. Like you want to give Lawler some heat back here, like after Hakushi leaves. Like if Bret beats both of them, this feud's over. You can't do anything about it. So good stuff, solid match. Not nothing great. Not going to blow your socks off. Nowhere close to their SummerSlam '93 match, but good storytelling at least, and kept the feud alive, I would say.
Yeah, I is dying at the King Lawler thing. I couldn't remember what the order was. Backstage, Bret admits that it's fake, his knee injury. Like I couldn't remember where it goes, but I think they set it up pretty well. Like they kind of throughout the night, King keeps saying like, "Let's do the match right now. Bret's hurt. I want to go out there now." So I thought that like storyline was really well done. And so I think they did that throughout. I probably just didn't have like the notes 100% correlated, but they did a good job. The woman is very attractive.
Yeah.
She is a very, very beautiful woman. And just the mom thing is just so funny of what's happening. And the way she cheers after the King wins too. It's just like so funny. It's one of the best women they've ever had, I think.
Oh,
like,
it's not even close. Yeah.
Very beautiful. Lawler's face is awesome when he sees Bret like not limping anymore. His chicken shit heel stuff is great. The match is what do you expect, right? You get kind of like all the standard. We love SummerSlam '93, but it's the same thing. And then you kind of get the ref's foot stuck in a rope. It's a little sloppy at the end, but King wins. The feud continues, and Bret does get some revenge on Shinja. So Shinja kind of takes some beatdown after the match. So that's nice too. Like Bret stands in the ring, defeated, but kind of like takes somebody out. And then, like you said, the feud continues. I love it. As far as that, we'll see how the feud actually goes in a direction that I don't think we want to see. But
it's gonna be. I'm just gonna have to take it for what it is because I already know. I know what's coming.
But fun enough match. We get, like I said, let's start. Sneeze. We kind of get a good match here, and Hakushi again looks like all right. He's with King, like he's been elevated. So
like his assassin. First match.
His assassin. Like he ended up getting the win for the King, right? Like his headbutt is the one that did it. So I liked all that. We get a crazy Sid promo where he's just sweating. He doesn't fit with the $1 Million Man at all, though. But he does he's just pouring sweat during his interview. I love it. He just does a great job.
Well, this is the show where they cut.
Oh yeah, which one?
He does the where he does the "Can we start over?" and Jim Ross is like, "We're live, pal."
We're live, pal. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure this is the pay per view. I think they cut it out, but
they cut it. Because I don't think it's part of this interview. I think it's earlier, and then I think they redid this interview.
Yeah.
Like a second interview. A second interview, but that is it. It's definitely not on the show, so definitely cut it out. But what great moment! It's on the internet somewhere. So
exactly,
nice try, WWF. And then we get Todd and Stephanie selling the house. And they do a great job of selling it. Like, hey, this is the house. Like everything going on. It's just the worst of the worst, right? Like, you don't want to watch this, but it is what it is. They're selling it as a big thing. The person that wins is super excited. Todd. The way he sells it, like he's a salesman, like he does a great job. He puts it over the top. I love that after they call him, they talk about how they still have to do an audit to make sure he's actually won it. So I love they get all the legal requirements in there. But this is your house. Pretty cool. Segments, it's kind of unwatchable right now, but this is it's bland, but the crowd was into it. Todd did a great I thought Todd killed it as far as like bringing the energy.
Oh yeah.
And then it was kind of kind of done in a couple minutes. So,
well, I mean, I feel like if you're, someone that, I guess, I don't know how you put your name in the running or whatever for the house. I guess you're kind of on the edge of your seat and you're kind of more in tune with it. So that had to be a pretty good spot for that person. Didn't they end up selling the house too? Because they had moved?
Well, they just moved. And then, like, when you win the house, you have to pay, like, taxes on it, on the value of the house. It's like, I think it's $150,000. So you owe, like, $50K of taxes. So they end up selling it, I think. But I think they just moved too. Like, so they're like, we're not moving again. And we have this $50K tax bill that we got. So
wait, so that house was only $150,000?
I thought he said that.
You might be right. I mean, that doesn't even get you a shed in Florida
Oh
anymore.
yeah. I mean, crazy. It was a long time ago.
Right. Yeah, 95. 30 years ago.
Yeah. Florida wasn't as hot. I mean, that was definitely was not as hot at that time. Yep. So it doesn't feel unrealistic to me.
No, that's a typical little Florida house with a little pool and
makes sense. On a golf course, So, so the house won, and then we got our championship match. We got Diesel versus Sid for our championship match. So we got Diesel coming out. I was kind of looking at history of WWE. It says sub for Shawn Michaels. I don't think Shawn Michaels was ever in this match, so I don't know what history of WWE is talking. I'm like, why is Shawn Michaels' name there? We get a pretty rough match. Diesel comes out. His music doesn't feel like he's a big timer. Like his music's cool, but it just doesn't sound like the same as Hogan.
Yeah, it's a Roseanne theme.
Yeah, right. It just doesn't have that same Warrior. Even Bret's a little bit pumps up,
right?
But I just don't like his music.
He said that too. He said that on a few podcasts.
Okay.
Like, what the hell was I supposed to do coming out to the? He's called it the Roseanne theme as well. He's like, I don't know how I get to come out to that and expect the crowd to be.
It's good for the pop, like at the beginning, and then just kind of like it's the same noise over and over again, kind of going through it. We get this match is a little rough.
It's pretty low.
Diesel's reign is going to run into he can't face a guy like Sid because no one believes the beatdown. Sid's doing a few chin locks, and that just doesn't look good on it. Sid is very raw at this point as far as in ring, right? He's been kind of MIA for a few years now, so he's not in the best shape. He looks menacing, but it's just very slow match. And then at 10 minutes, for some reason, Tonka interferes. After Diesel did hit the power bomb, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, I get they don't want Sid to be pinned clean at this point, but it feels like maybe save that move for later. But Tatanka comes in, breaks it up, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere we get Bam Bam Bigelow out for the big save. They clear the ring. They kind of hug afterwards. Ted DiBiase he must be really hurt because his kicks are embarrassing. Like he can't do anything physical. But it looks good when Bam Bam kind of takes him out. Ted DiBiase doesn't even take a punch from Bam Bam, so he must really be hurt and maybe try to sell that insurance policy.
Lloyd's in London,
Lloyd's in London, yeah. So he kind of bails out, and you kind of get just Sid and Bam Bam standing alone, which is pretty cool in the fact that you've elevated Bam Bam, but it was kind of a nothing match.
If Sid wasn't so like emotive, like if he wasn't so hyped up and stuff like that, and like had that charisma, this match would have been way worse. I mean, it still sucked, but at least he showed some like emotion in the match. But it's just too plotting, and you can't like if you're planning on having Diesel as your champion, you got to know he's this, big giant guy. You got to set him up with Shawn, with Owen, with I don't know some other smaller guys to kind of make the match work. But this just isn't it. Like this is the wrestling that ECW and eventually WCW and all these companies are getting away from. This Attack of the Giants kind of wrestling that just doesn't work anymore. So
which is fine if you do a big like beat down to each other, right? Like
if you do a house battle,
right? Goldberg. I mean, everyone talks Goldberg,
Brock
at 33, right?
Yeah, I was there for that.
Yeah, that's the match you want. Instead, you get slow chin locks, slow arm bars,
clutches,
camel clutches, nerve holds, like unnecessary, and just very little power moves. Right, anything looks vicious at all.
Right,
except for really the power bomb. I mean, the Diesel hit that pretty good on a pretty big guy. Sid still looks impressive, like physique wise. Right, he's sweaty, he's kind of watery, he's got the curly hair. He looks tall. The way he kind of jumps up on the ring apron, he looks menacing.
Right.
but he doesn't fit with the $1 Million Corporation. He looks kind of silly next to Tatanka. And so it's kind of a nothing match. Kind of, again, I think they wanted Diesel to have a win on pay-per-view, but he doesn't even get like a great win, right? This is 2 in a row.
Right.
He kind of beat Shawn, but was getting booed, and he kind of beat Sid here, but it's a DQ from Tatanka. So kind of fine enough match.
Exactly.
Anything else you want to add on the pay-per-view in general?
No, I think it was a solid show. Nothing crazy. Nothing, I didn't know I haven't seen the show in a long time. I didn't remember what to expect, but at least the pacing was pretty solid. You had a storyline kind of throughout. Diesel is just the reign is going to be disappointing. It just is. Yeah, I mean, you can't put enough nostalgia on it. It's just not going to work. But yeah, it's that aside. I think you got enough solid moving pieces to make something happen, but we'll just have to see where it goes.
Yeah, it's a pay-per-view I probably never watched that many times in full. I was I can't remember the the Adam Bomb Yoko match, Mabel match. And that's just 2 minutes long, so no wonder why I can't remember it. So it's probably pay-per-view I'd probably thrown out in the background and not really watched in full before. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of did it. I was it was okay. It's cool seeing some of these guys, as we go to the end of 95, getting a Jean-Pierre Lafitte match. And that would have never happened, right?
Right.
In other years. So it's cool getting them a pay-per-view match, but there's so much. There's nothing great in ring after the Bret Akushi match, and then I think the King segment is very well done with Bret. So I think all those segments were really well done.
I would agree.
All right, let's go to the awards. Unless you have anything else.
I think we're good.
All right, most new gen outfits.
I'm gonna go with Todd's mullet.
that might be.
It was flowing. Yeah.
It's flowing. Yeah. I'm gonna go Savio Vega's because I kind of liked it because he came out in just generic clothing.
Yeah,
but it was very 90s clothing, right? He didn't come in looking like a wrestler. He literally came up as a.
That's a good call.
Most no gen performer.
I'm gonna have to go with Lawler because he also kind of carried the backstage stuff and his segment kind of run throughout. I'm gonna go with Lawler.
That's a really good one. I'll go Todd just for the announcing. I thought he did a really good job. It was very 90s, selling a house. Pretty much so. So go to him. Worst match or segments?
Worst match or segment? The Mabel one was kind of too fast. So I'll go with Sid and Diesel. Just to be the main event. Too plotting. Can't get with it.
Yeah, I'll go Mabel and Bomb. It should have been better. That was my first one. It should have been better. Best match or segments?
I'm gonna go Bret Akushi. Opened up this your first ever in your house match that you see, and they did pretty good to.
Yep. I'm not gonna say there's nothing else to do, but it's definitely that.
Right.
Anyone stock up from this?
I guess because he was kind of featured enough, I'm gonna go with Akushi. He had a good match, and then he also got to run in with the Lawler stuff, and his role seems to be improving with the company.
I'm gonna go Savio Vega, only because he's been playing, which was terrible.
Right.
He was elevated too, considering how bad Elda Montoya looked. He got elevated so quickly.
Exactly.
We'll see how he kind of gets a good pay-per-view next. So I think he's elevated pretty quickly. So they did a good job there. Anyone stock down?
Oh, Adam Bomb.
Man, how dare you?
Yeah. Getting squashed out like that. I'm going to have to go with him.
I usually go Smoking Guns, I feel like, every week.
Right.
I will go Smoking Guns. Elda Montoya is a good one as well. It feels like a couple guys kind of down. I'm just looking if there's anyone else. I'll just go Smoking Guns. I feel like I go every week for that.
I mean, if they earn it, they earn it.
Yeah, I know. All right. With them Smoking Guns. So I'm actually switching it. I'm going Doc Hendricks. He was terrible.
Oh,
guess. Sorry, now I see. So I gotta go him. Right. He might win until he leaves. He might win he might just be my default. So
right.
For the next 30 episodes, I just put him as.
That's a good call.
So next week we return, or 2 weeks we return with King of the Ring qualifying matches. We've got some in Superstars and in Raw, kind of all over the place. This is where you get a Mantar qualifying match already. I've seen a King Kong Bundy qualifying match. I mean, we got the A-listers coming up the next couple of weeks, but we build to a King of the Ring, which probably, what do you think? One of the most rebooked pay-per-views of all time, King of the Ring 95?
Oh, 100%.
Right? You know, that and the Rumble 14 are kind of ones notorious where they're so bad, but there's potential there, and it's just done so horribly. So we'll have a lot of the King of the Ring qualifying. We'll probably be like, man, this guy looks like he's going to win, and it ends up not being that way. So I'll be back in 2 weeks with Superstars and Raws as we build up to King of the Ring. Thanks, everyone, for listening, rating, and reviewing. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.